Now, a bit on what's been happening in relationship news. I'm not sure if people have heard of the Hansel twins, conjoined twins. Well, they've been very famous, actually, probably the most famous conjoined twins in the world. Now, for people that are not aware and not familiar with the term conjoined twins, meaning twins that were stuck together, that are still stuck together after being born. And that happens when, with regular identical twins, you have one fertilized egg splitting into two. And so that's why they should look the same, generally look the same. However, with conjoined twins, the separation isn't complete, and so they're still joined a bit somewhat, and they start developing in the womb like that, with some joining of each other. Now, the joining can be in a lot of places, either skin, stomach, or sometimes head as well, in the skull. And in some cases, after they're born, doctors can separate them into two so they can lead separate lives. However, it depends on how they're joined. It's more like a flesh thing. If they're just joined in the stomach without organs being shared, then that's pretty easy. So it's more like just almost a cosmetic separation with one knife, and they're two whole. Though sometimes I do see them. Maybe the twins have everything, but only have one set of legs. So if you split them in half, they're going to be living with one leg. And I guess it's up to the parents what they try to do, whether or not they want to split them or keep them conjoined as they are. Now, this pair of twins called Abby and Brittany Hansel, they were born with the top. They've got two heads and only two arms. So the top they share, I think, separate heads, hearts and lungs, but one digestive tract. And the bottom, like one reproductive system and one set of legs. So two legs, two arms, two heads. And so the parents have made the decision not to separate them because, as you can imagine, with those amount of shared organs, you'll basically be sacrificing one child, getting rid of one head and so forth, so the other can live a normal life. And so because of that, they've decided to keep them together. And there have been documentaries and so forth with the twins over the years, how they progress from when they're young until they're adult, till the teenage years, how can progress with living a life conjoined together like that. And apparently one side, one girl controls one hand, either the right hand, and the left head controls the left hand arm. And so they've had their lives documented in a US reality series and have now transitioned from a duo to a trio. You know, they've decided to get married. Well, first of all, the Hansel twins have done pretty well for themselves. They are now school teachers. Went to university and are now qualified school teachers, which that's what they've done. And they appeared, I guess, from what I heard, they appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1996, explaining about their lives as conjoined twins. And now, apparently, they were born with a rare condition, two heads on a single body with one genital system, two arms and two hearts and two legs. So they share one bloodstream and all the organs below the waist. And Abby controls the right arm and leg, and Brittany controls the left side, the left arm and leg. Okay. The parents decided not to separate them because, how do you pick between the two? He said before, you have to sacrifice one for the other. And despite the complications of life as conjoined twins, they haven't let it hold them down from achieving things like they got a driver's license test. They passed their driver's license test at 16. They graduated from college. They traveled to Europe, and they've both got a teaching degree. So they're actually two school teachers. Okay, and now recently we've heard the news that they've decided to get married. Well, they have gotten married, and it's always been the thing with only one genital system. Do they marry one person or two? Do they marry one man or two men? Legally, there are two people, but your reproductives is only one that's shared. So if they do become mums, they'll both become mums in one of them. So now they've gotten married, or more correctly, one of them has gotten married. Abby, the left-sided twin, has gotten married to Josh Bowling. As we heard, he was a nurse and a U.S. Army veteran. And they live in Minnesota, where the twins were initially born and raised. So the twins are now 34, and, they've been living private lives. And Abby and Josh kept their marriage under wraps from the public eye. Apparently, they were married in 2021, and we did not know about it. And until 2023, and now it's just basically hit the news here that we know. And they quite recently, only last year, shared their wedding photos of the ceremony. Abby and her sister wore one dress, obviously, an all-white sleeveless bridal gown and lace-back dress. And the groom, Bowling, wore a grey suit. And so far, there's been no word on whether or not they plan on extending their family, like having children. There's been no rush because the groom already, as we understand, already has a child from a prior relationship. So how is it going to work with them being mums if they decide to have a child? Obviously, okay, the first thing people think of is there's going to be 3 people in the bed. Okay. And if the husband makes love to his bride, his wife, well, the sister-in-law is also there, and it's also, in effect, making love with the sister-in-law as well. And if they have they get pregnant, it'll be the child that belongs to both of them. Obviously. And you know what? If you think about it with identical twins, the child of one twin is basically genetically also the child of the other twin, because the genetics are absolutely the same. So I guess in any paternity test, both of them would read as fathers. So if we're just going on that basis, it's not that not a far reacher on how you can think about it, how you think about it. Well, that's the relationship news for this week, and we'll go to some music and we'll be right back.